Welcome to Season 3 of the Healthy Living Doesn't Have to Suck podcast. I'm Melyssa with a Y, double board certified lifestyle medicine coach, size inclusive fitness specialist, author, and speaker dedicated to helping changemakers like you drop the struggle and create a healthy lifestyle you can love. This season, we're diving even deeper into conversations with guests from all arenas of the health and wellness industry, focused on making healthy living feel easy, enjoyable, and sustainable. Through my book, coaching community, online fitness studio, and corporate wellness packages, I'm here to provide the tools, strategies, and support you need to feel your best. Because when you show up as your healthiest self, you're unstoppable. All right, y'all, let's get to it. It is day 2 of Lifestyle Medicine Week 2025, and our special guest today is someone who I completely fangirled over the first time that I met her. It was just such a cool moment to connect outside of the Lifestyle Medicine Conference and share how full plate living has impacted my life in such a positive way. And I know we get into it in the episode, so I don't want to spoil too much ahead of time, but just know I am so excited for you to listen to this conversation. Enjoy, everyone. Welcome back, Changemakers. We are in Lifestyle Medicine Week with our focus on nutrition today. So I am really excited to introduce you to Amy from the Ardmore Institute of Health. She is highly involved in the Full Plate Living program, and we're going to talk about all things nutrition today as it relates to lifestyle medicine and celebrating this week of awareness. So Amy, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to do this today and celebrate a great week.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know people who have been listening to the podcast for a while have heard me talk about you and full plate living, but do you mind sharing a little bit about your background with some of our audience who may be meeting you for the first time today?
Sure. My name's Amy Hanus. I actually initially got my degree in exercise with emphasis on exercise science, thinking that's I wanted to go in. And of course, wellness built in from that when I started working with the Ardmore Institute of Health, which is what Full Plate Living lives under. And we it's a residential program. And actually, I worked at that program and ran the fitness center and the therapy departments there.
Oh,
And
wow.
it has evolved over a lot of different things. And it's wonderful to see that as the world has evolved with health and wellness, to be able to take that journey with the corporation, with the organization that I'm with. So I really love the work that I get to do now
Yeah.
with Full
And
Plate Living. Yeah.
oh my gosh. And one of the things that is always just mind blowing to people when I share about full plate living is it's completely free.
It is. That's one of the great things about the Ardmore Institute of Health as a nonprofit foundation. And so we do a lot of granting in the space of whole health and lifestyle medicine. And very fortunate that our board chooses to fund a full plate living as a free service to you and your family and friends.
Yeah, and I know I've personally shared how much I've enjoyed it over time because I came from the background of the yo-yo dieting, of the disordered eating and things like that. And I can distinctly remember a time when I was doing a program that focused on portion control and had these lovely containers that you would use. And my mom and I were trying to do the program together. And there was an instance where she went to reach for a full banana. And I said, "Ooh, mom, that's 2 purple containers. That's your max for the
Oh,
day."
yeah.
And we were talking about that not too long ago. We were like, wow, to try to look at a piece of fruit and say, "Ooh, you better be careful how many of those you're eating,"
Right.
is such a strange thing to think about. Is that truly promoting health? So one of the things that I loved about Full Plate was the flexibility, the freedom, and really meeting yourself where you're at. I would love if you could educate our audience a little bit more on the Full Plate philosophy and
Sure.
principles behind it, as well as anything nutrition related that you would like our audience to learn today.
Absolutely. So, Full Plate Living, we're all about helping you add whole, unprocessed fiber foods. We look at fiber foods that have fiber and water and naturally come that way. That's why I always say whole, unprocessed. So, while you can find a box of cereal that's high fiber, it is also usually high processed as well.
Sure.
So it's not necessarily in its whole state. So like the whole banana, your fruits, your vegetables, your beans, and specifically we looked at cooked whole grains. 4 kind of different categories of water fiber foods. It's really, when you're eating whole unprocessed fiber foods, it's the packaging of these items really that are just beautiful. Yes, it has the wonderful fiber that really helps fill us up and keeps us satisfied for a long period of time. There's so many health benefits for fiber, but it's also
Right.
the packaging of these foods and the amount of nutrients really that come with it. So while yes, you could take a fiber supplement, you're missing out on the vitamins and minerals and phytochemicals and all those wonderful things that really are packaged in that banana.
Yeah.
So that's really what we help just add more. We don't always necessarily talk about what you need to take away. There's a place, I think, for every food on your plate if you want to choose to eat different foods. But we are really about helping you add more of those whole and processed fiber foods to your plate. You can see the plate behind me. The 75% is what we have people work toward.
Yeah.
So 75% of your plate being those water fiber foods, those fruit, vegetables, beans, cooked whole grains. The 25% really is for anything and everything else that you want. So we have no forbidden foods. We really want to meet you where you're at and help you slowly add fiber to your diet and to your plate. It's not a diet and that you're changing everything overnight. It really is a journey. I think in general, thinking of no matter what healthy thing we want to do, it's a journey of incorporating that into our lives and making it a habit and making it kind of stick with what we want to do day in and day out. Of course, even for the 25%, the things we can pick whatever we want up. The majority of the time, if we're picking healthy things for that section, the better we are going to achieve the different goals that we have. And I think
Mhm.
that's one of the things is, what are you working towards? Why do you want to work towards these things? And really kind of keeping that at the core of why you're making this health journey. And if it is with nutrition first, great. Full Plate Living can help you do that. But I think every aspect of our lives, anything we want to improve on, why? And being that
Yeah.
toddler and keep asking ourselves, why? But why?
Right.
And kind of getting
Yeah.
to the root of why do we want to eat healthier? I want to be able to play with my grandkids and my great grandkids. I want to be able to go outside and play soccer with them or
Right.
whatever that is for you.
Yeah, and that's something that I really appreciate is that focus on what sorts of positives can I add in versus trying to focus on everything to that you want to remove, because what I found through my journey was the more fiber filled foods that I started adding onto my plate, the more that it just started creeping those other foods out. And it was so much more enjoyable to like still have that those cravings satisfied because I remember when I was first learning about
Absolutely.
lifestyle medicine and promotes a whole food plant-based lifestyle. And as a girl from Texas who, was raised there majority of her childhood and barbecue is like its own food group, I
Oh,
was
yes.
like, ooh, it sounds like this might be a bit too extreme for me. But it truly made a huge difference when I started noticing and paying attention to how my food was making me feel in the aftermath of consuming it
Mhm.
versus just that instant gratification of what tastes good. And even over time, I don't enjoy barbecue ribs as much anymore. So it's been
Right.
really
Yeah.
interesting to see how that evolution take place.
Our taste buds change, and sometimes we just have to give them a chance to change and to enjoy other foods. We eat things that are so sweet. If you're used to eating things that are really sweet all the time, eating an apple or a piece of fruit sometimes doesn't seem that sweet. It's not going to be the piece of pie sweet.
Right. Yeah.
But a lot of times, if we're not having it as much, and those are items that we treat literally as treats every now, then it's amazing our bodies and how it will shift and adjust in that direction in that way. You bring up a great point
Yeah.
too, as far as like still being able to enjoy some of those things. And again, sometimes you might find I really don't enjoy what I used to enjoy, and that's okay too.
Yeah, because I know I talked about this in the episode that I recorded with Dr. John Bonnet, but I did share on social media how my brunches used to look like the bottomless mimosas and the
Yep.
bacon and sausage and pancakes that smothered in butter and syrup. And now I wake up on the weekend and I'm craving like avocado toast with sweet potatoes and cannellini beans and like beautiful berries on the side and a fruit salad. So it is
Same here.
possible.
I totally
Yeah.
understand that. Mine is like polenta, whole grain polenta with some black beans
Oh,
and some stewed tomatoes with some avocado on top, maybe an
oh,
egg.
that
I
sounds
mean, it's just amazing.
delicious.
Yes.
Which is so funny because Melyssa of maybe 3 or 4 years ago would turn her nose up at that and be like, oh, what?
For breakfast? And I'm like, you know what? Don't knock it till you try it.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that kind of tags into our empower section of this podcast, which is like, how can people feel a little bit more empowered to take these steps towards building a healthier lifestyle around their nutrition when so much societal pressure is out there and there's so much noise about nutrition and food. One day eggs are good for you, the next day they're bad for you. Can you share some strategies around like maybe ways that our audience can help navigate that information as well as empower themselves to take those small steps for that longer lasting change over time?
Wow, that's a weighted question. That's a great question. That's a lot.
Thank you.
We could spend a couple hours on that, but
right.
I think one too. I always, when people come to Full Plate sometimes, and I think they come to it with a diet mentality too, because marketers have done a great job. They really have done a great job of selling things to us and what our beliefs are around that. And I always invite them to come to Full Plate with, it's a journey. It's something totally new. You can leave all of that in the past. And how can we move forward? So it's about not living in the past. It's about moving forward and actually doing it at a small step. We're all about a small habit adoption. One small step, one little thing that you do. One of the first things we have people do is just add one fiber food to their next meal. You know what?
And power it up.
Yeah, you power up your next meal. And a lot of people would be like, yeah, I added that. No, it's yes, you added that. Way to go. Give yourself a pat on the back and celebrate that, because I don't think we give ourselves enough credit. And I think our self-talk sometimes is so negative that it takes not just time in changing our plate, but it's changing in our thinking and our thought process too. So I think one thing is be kind to yourself. Give yourself a lot of grace on this journey. And you can't change what you've done in the past, but you can change what you do in the future. And even if you have one meal and you're like, oh, I just really didn't do very well that one. Guess what? We all have those moments.
Yeah,
but guess what?
absolutely.
The next meal is a whole new opportunity. It's keeping it positive with yourself. And if you find yourself with that negative thought, how can you change that negative thought into a positive thought? I didn't do great at that one, or I did add broccoli to that meal. Oh, next time I do that, I'm gonna add this to it. Or, you just have to come up with different strategies, I think, for yourself to do that. But you're changing your behavior, and it's not going to be necessarily a walk in the park. It is going to be a little bit of a journey, but what's great is there's people like you and I who are really cheering everyone on to do the best that you can at the moment that you're in.
Yeah. And there's a couple of things there that you said that I think are so important to highlight is that you don't have to wait until you achieve a goal to celebrate each and every step that you're taking along the way. And I think so many of us hold ourselves back to be, like you said, you minimize the progress that you're making because they're so fixated on that long-term goal. And it's, no, you deserve to celebrate that step because you're already making more positive choices. So that deserves to be celebrated. And that negative self-talk can be so overwhelming, especially with the way that we've been conditioned to receive all of those marketing messages and just all of the different societal standards that are out there about what's healthy, what's unhealthy, even calling food junk food. There's so much judgment around it that really being patient with yourself and learning how to coach yourself through that is a huge piece.
And that you're not going to do it perfect. You're not going to do it perfectly.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Actually, in your book, how you taught, I was flipping through it before this because it's been a little while since I picked it up when I first got it last year. So we're going to go back through the perfectionist mindset of things too. And I think we all have that we find ourselves in that loop and always like to do things imperfectly perfect. Or it's about the journey. It's about progress and not perfection.
Yeah, because even in those little slip ups and mistakes, like you can learn something that can help better support you in the journey and like course correct along the way. And let me just tell you, that was one of my coolest moments of 2024 was when we had our call after the lifestyle medicine conference and I was sharing with you about how I wrote this book and you whip out. Yes. Just like that. Oh my gosh. Yeah. That was such a validating moment for me
Uh,
too, because I was like, oh my gosh, Amy's this lifestyle medicine legend and like now has my book in her hand. So it was such a cool moment because I do share about full plate living in the book
yeah.
because
Now,
it aligns with the healthy living doesn't have to suck message where you
yeah.
grant yourself that flexibility and freedom and you focus on the enjoyment that you're getting out of the food that you're eating while still looking where you can have those opportunities to make more positive changes.
Well, a highlight to my year was on LinkedIn how you had posted your full plate living facilitator training certification. I was like, look at this. And just being able to share it with everyone. Those are just wonderful things to see people taking our free resources and then for the betterment of the people or the lives that they touch. And
Yeah.
so thank you for the work that you are doing.
Oh my gosh, I appreciate that so much. And I know so many change makers who are listening to this podcast are totally going to fangirl whenever they go and actually do the full plate living program and see you in the videos. And they're going to be like, oh my gosh, that's Amy. It's going to feel like they know you after this podcast.
And if you see me at a conference or something, just come up and say hi and tell me how
Yeah.
full plate's working for you.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, so amazing. Yeah, I was really excited to add that program to my offerings portfolio
Yeah.
to be able to bring to businesses, to communities, and my own clients. So it's really exciting to see, even in the short time that I've known Full Plate, there's been so much growth and expansion, which is so cool. And I think we've segued from the empower section into engage. And we're already talking about one of the ways that people can engage in making these changes by enrolling in full plate living. But what other kinds of recommendations or resources would you want to share with people who are listening today that can help them take that first next step towards better nutrition?
I think it's keep it simple. Add one
Mm.
fiber food to your next meal. One fruit, one vegetable, one bean, or one cooked whole grain. I said or in there. Pick one that you really want to. And if you do want to learn more about full plate living and go through a course type setting of doing small step, fullplateliving.org is a place to go. If you're looking at, so I'll tell you, do you have a moment for a story? Can I tell you a
Oh,
little story?
absolutely. Yes,
So
we
in,
love
in,
stories.
in the online program, John is one of our success stories. And I loved hearing him talk about it. And he actually had a lifestyle medicine doc and he had to drive like an hour to go see her. And she was doing an
Oh,
online
wow.
program, or we didn't have I don't think we had the online program maybe at that time or the latest version. And so
Okay.
she was going to do a group program with her patients. And so she was talking with him about it. He goes, I can't make it that long of a drive. And he goes, could I do this program in my community? Sorry, my dog is going off. Can you hear him? Is it all right?
Oh, we love pet features.
Okay, good, good. So anyway,
He's just hyping you up. He's just hyping you in the full plate living program up and being like, yeah, share
excellent,
John's story.
excellent. He's letting me know there's probably a squirrel outside.
Oh, I love that. The lookout.
He is, absolutely. So he goes to the lifestyle medicine doc and she goes, here's the program. And he goes, could I take that and do it in my community? And she's like, yes. And so he held it at his church for his community and completely changed his life. So he needed to make the change for his heart disease he had, and it changed his health and then those around him. So I think sometimes if you're wanting to make the change, sometimes teaching or educating or
Yeah.
sharing those things and having that same experience with people can strengthen that. So like our group program, anyone can lead one. It does not have to
Yes.
necessarily be a doctor or something like that, but just things that you can do to give back. Even with full plate, we like to think of kind of the last stage of full plate as giving back, sharing us
Yeah.
with someone. And especially if you're teaching a class, then you're providing a support system not just for others, but for yourself too.
Yeah, and I've always seen so much magic happen in like group experiences where if people are struggling with something and there's a member who had previously struggled and they share what works for them and everyone
Yeah.
chimes in to help support and
Powerful.
encourage each other. Yeah, it's
It's
it's such a
powerful.
cool thing to be part of and to witness happen. And like you said, I find it helpful sometimes too, where I'm like, oh man, I haven't tried that. Maybe I'll give it a try.
Yeah. In our online program, we have a private community, and it is to me
Yeah,
how supportive and positive everyone is toward each other. And because some
right.
people don't have that at home, and that's reality. A lot of people don't
Yeah.
have the support, whether maybe they live by themselves or maybe their spouse or their family are on board with it. Sometimes it's finding that in other places. And it's okay if the family or anyone else, is not on board with kind of what you're doing. But
Right.
you need to finding someone, whether it is an online type community or just a friend or anyone that can help support that. What's great is coaches like you that do this as well.
Oh, thank you. And yeah, that's such an important thing to bring up too, because full plate isn't just focused on the nutrition. Like that's the main
Right.
component of it, but you do also incorporate the other lifestyle medicine pillars because they all link together. Like when you're
They
eating
do.
better, you're going to sleep better, and if you add
Absolutely.
exercise in, you're more likely to stick with your nutrition. And I know I'm preaching to the choir on that one, but I think
Probably the
that's
number
some
one thing people tell us is that they go, I just have more energy. If you have more energy, you just feel better to
yes.
do other things.
Yeah.
Their number one goal might be they want to lose weight, or they may want to
Mhm.
control their blood sugars, or they want to lower their cholesterol. But a lot of times, the first kind of self awareness that they have is, I feel better. I have more energy.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of value in that.
Yeah. And in addition to those other lifestyle medicine pillars, it really provides tangible tips for like how to navigate those difficult conversations with people who
Yes.
may not be on the same page as you
Yep.
with making your nutrition changes or anticipating going out to a restaurant. And
Restaurant.
oh my gosh, the secret menu is my favorite. I just used that when I was staying, and when I was staying at a resort with my mom, I was like, let me find the secret menu here.
Yes, I'm always on the hunt for fiber. Where is the fiber
Yes.
hiding on the menu?
And that's the only teaser I'm going to give for that, because everyone else is going to have to go and roll to find out what we're talking about with the secret menu.
Yes, that's one of my favorite things to do though, is
Yeah.
creating fun things for menus.
Yeah. And I
Mhm.
think all of those tips are so helpful for people to really start to shift their mindset to focus on that nutrition for life and not just, like you said, for weight
Right.
loss or insulin management and things like that, which those are
Right.
important
Very
because
important.
we have to address those types of chronic conditions. My mom just came back with high cholesterol, and I'm like,
We
holy
got to
shit, we should get back on full plate together. So her and I are going to be accountability buddies for that again
Uh,
too, because I'll admit I'm overdue for
okay.
my labs. I gotta go get those done.
This is our PSA. If you do not have your annual visit scheduled, schedule it today and have that
Yes.
done.
Yes, absolutely. So important to stay proactive and preventative with your health.
Absolutely. Yes, for
Oh.
sure. For sure.
Amy, when I've had guest experts on the show, one of my favorite questions to ask is how do you incorporate a healthy living doesn't have to suck message in your lifestyle or your work or any parts of your life? Like how do you bring that to life?
I think over time that has changed. Like it's a core value of me. And that's one of the exercises that we have people do at the beginning of the programs are kind of our core values of who we are. And to me, I just find so much delight in finding all of those little positive nuggets of things that I'm doing myself and for my health.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things of putting yourself first, and that's very hard. I'm very much a caregiver type personality. I want to take care of everyone else first, but a lot of times
Right.
it's stepping back and taking care of me first. So to me, it's got it for people listening who are just starting their journey or just, on the beginning part of their journey, it can seem very overwhelming, but just know that the more that you're doing it, it just becomes part of who you are. And finding delight in those things. And the more that you're positively thinking about those things, then it's a better, more positive experience that you have. So whether it's, oh, I get to go outside now and play with my dog. I get to go outside and take a walk, or I get to go cook a pot of beans. I look forward to those things now, whereas before, sometimes they may have felt more like a chore.
Oh, I'm sure a lot of people are going to be able to relate to that message. And I know that's part of my journey too, is the things that I once used to dread or felt like I had to force myself to do are things that I now look forward to and enjoy while I'm doing them. It's really amazing to see those types of transformations and to hear about it from people in the industry such as yourself. So
Well,
we
and we all
really
have
appreciate it.
setbacks. We all have setbacks, and we have to readjust and we have to recalibrate where we're at and what we're doing. So, by no means am I perfect. And I think a lot of times, us health professionals in general that are in this space get put up on a pedestal, and that's sometimes a long fall that we can make for people. So, I think knowing that we all ourselves are on this life journey of lifestyle medicine and working towards having good health.
Yeah, we're all humans, and as we were talking about before we started recording, life be lifing
Life be
sometimes.
life and
And you
not.
just got to get through the day however you can and then pick yourself up, dust yourself off and get back in it.
For sure.
Amy, if people are curious to learn more about you and what you do and Full Plate Living and Ardmore Institute, where are some
Yeah.
of the best places for them to connect?
Ardmore Institute of Health.org, fullplateliving.org. Those are our two websites that we have there. Again, we do a lot of granting the space of whole health lifestyle medicine. If you want to check out some of the different things we have done and we are doing, you can definitely go to Ardmore Institute of Health.org. And if you're ready to jump on the bandwagon of adding more fiber to your plate, to your life, fullplateliving.org. You can click just join, sign up. You can immediately name and email address is all we require to start the online program. And it's as easy as that.
Oh, that's amazing. And yes, y'all, please go check out those resources. They have a plethora of webinars that have such amazing information on all things health and even hot topics like the GLP-1s and everything like that. They come from reputable, evidence-based sources. So highly recommend keeping that link bookmarked for any nutrition and
And you can find
lifestyle
all of those
questions.
on our YouTube channel. So our Full
Perfect.
Plate Living YouTube channel, Dr. Bonnet did our GLP-1 webinar that we did. So yeah, a lot of those are available just on demand to watch through.
Awesome. I'll make sure to link the channel in the show notes. But Amy, thank you so much for
Thank
sharing
you
your
so much for
time and your
having me.
energy with us today. Any closing words or last minute thoughts that you'd like to share before we wrap up?
Love yourself, live for life, and every small step you're taking.
That is it, change makers. Oh my gosh, we are so excited to share this episode with you during Lifestyle Medicine Week. We'll see you for future episodes coming out each day during Lifestyle Medicine Week for our little special series that we've got going on with the Healthy Living Doesn't Have to Suck podcast. And until next time, change makers, keep it real, stay positive, and go celebrate those small wins. As a quick, friendly reminder, the information in these podcasts are always strictly for educational purposes only. As always, thanks so much for listening, Changemakers. And if you can please remember to head to your favorite podcast platform and subscribe, rate, and review. It will help this podcast reach other changemakers so they can start listening and tuning in each week. Hey there, Changemakers. As a bonus, if you've been wanting to make healthier choices but don't feel like you have the time or even know where to start, make sure you check out my Lifestyle Medicine Mini Makeover. It's a free 7-day email series designed to help you take small, powerful steps toward better health that can fit into your busy lifestyle. Each day, you'll get an email that educates you on one of the lifestyle medicine pillars, along with a simple mini challenge to put what you learned into action. If you're ready to level up your health with lifestyle medicine, then sign up now at healthylivingdoesn'thavetosuck.com/makeover and let's do this together. By the end of this week-long challenge, you will have success in showing yourself that healthy living doesn't have to suck.